Hi guys, and welcome to another Yesterday's Airlines video and another exclusive NG Models mold reveal. I'm super happy to be able to announce that NG Models' next 3 molds will be to complete their 737 next generation family, producing the 737-600, 700 and 900 to join the 737-800, which you can see here as the old sample with the blue tail. Okay, now in this video we're going to focus on the Boeing 737-700, or as it is often known, the 73G. So, 737-700s, it's not a particularly well represented type in 400 scale. There have been, I think, 140 or so releases over the years from a variety of different manufacturers. It's not that many considering over 1,000 aircraft were sold. And a lot of the releases are focused on 2 airlines, Alaska and Southwest. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more Alaska and Southwest using this new NG mold, but hopefully we'll also see a good diversity of other carriers. And I know that out of the 3 versions that have been produced here, this is clearly the one which people are most excited by. There's a good variety of interesting airlines. Shout out for an East Wind and a Midway example, if NG are listening to this video. But, there are lots of others that can be made too, from a whole, range of nations, across Europe, India, South America, the US, Canada, and even, places out in, Africa, Oceania, obviously, Virgin Blue and such. So there's plenty of scope for 73G releases. I think it's a really, really good idea to be putting one of these out here, a new version, and obviously, just like with the other variants, since you've already got an 800, the development costs must be relatively small. Now, looking at the mold again, just like the 800, this one looks awesome. It's got all the minor fixes because this actual example is using a production 737-800 landing gear. The nose looks good. Perhaps not quite as nice as on the 600 actually, but I'm sure that's just an individual thing. The mold otherwise looks excellent. It does have the tail bumper, which is a mistake. As I pointed out with the 600, the 700 and the 600 do not have a tail bumper, so I'm sure NG will fix that up. But otherwise, the mold looks pretty much perfect, the sort of thing which is going to mean that people are going to be selling off a lot of their old 700 series. And I think sales will be strong, as long as the right kind of models are being chosen. But there's a lot out there that can be made, and the mold's looking pretty good. Now, obviously, has been 140 previous releases, and mainly on 4 molds, and they're all kind of okay, but they're not spectacular. The oldest mold is this one from Gemini. It's not bad. It's an old mold. It dates from the early 2000s. They've actually even used it in 2020 with aerials added. I don't hate it. It's fine, for its age, but it's obviously not competing in terms of the landing gear and the nose especially. But it's decent enough, I guess. The next oldest is probably the Phoenix. Phoenix can't print 737 cockpit windows. They always look crap. And often they're lopsided. This one actually isn't too bad, but nonetheless it's still very thin and kind of odd looking. The mold itself, yeah, it's okay. I actually probably think it's inferior to the earlier Gemini. The nose is kind of long and kind of slightly the wrong shape. There's this really weird long space under the bottom of the tail here, which is way too long to be just the rudder. Yeah, and the undercarriage always looks a bit funky on these, and this one's not very well fitted either. But yeah, it's not appalling. It's okay. But again, it pales in comparison to the new NG offering. Next up, we've got the replacement JC Wings Gemini version, which again, shares a lot of commonalities with their 800. It's okay. It's a bit nose down. Landing gear is a bit chunky. Nose is a bit rounded. It's okay, but again, it's not great. I don't love it, and I'd consider replacing with the NG version. And the best of the rest is the Panda version, which was used by Aero Classics also. I think this is an Aero Classics release. I think this has got the best overall shape. It's the nicest of the existing 73Gs. I see that there's been a couple of new Panda 737-700s announced for RM models in the States. Interesting to see whether they use this mold or an updated one. But regardless, I quite like this mold. But in detail, it's not got as nice a shape as the new NG version in terms of the landing gear. engine exhausts, the nose, but it's okay. So I think there's a huge hole here in 737-700s. I can understand why NG have gone down this route, considering they've got the 800 Mould already and there's a big opportunity. Yeah, I'd probably preferred an MD-80 or a DC-910 or even a 737-300, but I'm reasonably happy with 73Gs. There are, I don't know, 10 or 20 that I'd probably buy, and it'll be interesting to see kind of what they put out on the Mould, but I'm pretty happy with what they've done here. It looks pretty good to me, and yeah, looking forward to seeing some 737-700s in the next few months, I guess. So hopefully, you know, it might take a month or so for them to fix up the rear fuselage there, but I'd imagine that we'd probably end up seeing releases April, something like that. But that's just a guess. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Hope you liked the video. Give it a like if you do. Subscribe to the channel. Check out Yesterday's Airlines on the web. Like me on Instagram and on Facebook at Yesterday Airlines. And keep an eye out for more of these kind of exclusives on my site. See you later, guys.